Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Lewis Tait. Hope that you're having a wonderful evening on this Tuesday, 19th of January. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to gather tonight, and hope that you invite some of your friends to get on and jump on with us tonight. This is Dr. Lewis Tait. This is Tuesday Spark, words of information, words of inspiration, and words of insight that may spark something in your mind. I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm just trying to get you to think. It only takes a spark in order to start a fire. So let's spark it up. So when you jump on, when you invite some people to join us, to get online with us, you can go down to the bottom of your page and you can invite them to join us tonight for Tuesday Spark, and take this opportunity to tune in to what we are doing, what we're saying. So take that opportunity tonight to invite some people to join us and to be on with us tonight. All right, so I pray that you would take that moment and do that, and so they can join us. And you go down to the bottom of your page, as I say, if you have an Apple product, and you can invite them easily by just pushing on that little button down there that invites people. Good to see you, Kat, and good to see you, my good friend Paul Sadler. So take the opportunity to invite some people to join us. And tonight, just want to give you just a few announcements on the eve of inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Our theme for 2001 is just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. And of course, we live stream every Sunday on Facebook, on my page, which is Lewis Thomas Tait Jr., and also the Village First Facebook page. Also, we are on Instagram, and so you can get us there. YouTube, I'm sorry, and Twitter. And so you can get us on those four sort of platforms on Sunday. Don't forget, every Wednesday we pray in the morning at 6:15. That's tomorrow morning. We pray. Good time to start off with prayer. So why don't you join us? You can be anywhere in the country and get the information from our website, and just join us for prayer. TheVillageDC.church. And you can get our all the information there, or even on our Facebook page, which is the Village DC, and just join us and chime in. Come to pray with us. It takes 15 minutes. That's all we use, 15 minutes, and we pray, and then we're off. So join us tomorrow. And also, we start our teaching series in 2021 in the spring, February the 3rd. You don't want to miss it. We'll be looking at the book of Esther. The book of Esther is the only book that doesn't mention God's name, but it's a powerful book, and certainly God is in it. So don't forget to put that on your calendar. It's February the 3rd, and our study will start at 7:30. It's a 30-minute study, and that's our spring teaching series. You don't want to miss it. And also, our 21-day Daniel fast will start on the 22nd. It will end on March the 15th at midnight. That's our 21-day fast. It's the first full week of the Lenten season. So you can mark your calendar, get your food ready, your refrigerator ready, and all those good things. I just want to thank all of you for your support, your financial support, giving to our church, and just making our church a priority. You can give to the village through Givelify, and also you can give through Cash App. And so we want to thank you for your gifts in advance in terms of supporting our church. Remember, your gifts are tax deductible. And so we are 501c3 church. And so, yeah, I know. But these are the things that are important in society. And remember, the ministry is about touching lives, not about brick and mortar. And the village is in the business of touching lives. And that's the ministry that we do. And we pray that God will help us to continue with your help. All right? So tonight, I just want to talk about expectations for a little while when I'm with you. Expectations. life doesn't always go the way we want, and most of the time it doesn't. Even when you have a wonderful plan, if you spend time with your plan, it often doesn't go the way you want. I remember this past winter in November, the first Sunday, we had planned a service because we wanted to show appreciation to some of the people in our church, and it was the first Sunday in November, and we had come to the church, and my sister Kat and others, Deacon Charlie and George, and we had went through some of the things that we need to do to prepare for the service on that Friday. That was going to happen on Sunday. It was going to be a drive-in service, and we had everything sort of mapped out what we were going to do. But we did not expect the rain. As a matter of fact, it rained so hard. We had like a little sort of tent where we were speaking under, and it was like, as my sister Cat was, it was a deluge. It was a lot of rain, but we continued on. We kept going on, and we sort of. My sister, Elder Jackie, said, somebody asked were we going to cancel the service. She says, no, we're going forward. And we got that kind of sort of attitude from my dad. And so the thing is, that's how life is. Sometimes it's not always bright. It's not always sunny. Things are not always, up in the air. Sometimes you have children who act up, and when you want them to sort of behave, you have obligations at your job, and a lot of times you want to go have fun on the weekend, but you have to do what that job requires because you're trying to keep that job, and so your weekend plans sort of fall apart. And life is oftentimes full of disappointments as well as joys, and sometimes it's how do we handle those disappointing or disappointments we face in life. Things oftentimes don't work out, particularly if you happen to be a manager or supervisor at work. People don't show up, they call in late, and you depend on them. And there are many other circumstances that we often have to deal with, and it helps us to sort of temper our expectations. It doesn't suggest that we shouldn't dream. It doesn't suggest we shouldn't dream big, but it also helps us to understand, even with all of our expectations, a lot of times we have to learn how to manage our way through these disappointments and through these kinds of issues. Now, sometimes we can have unrealistic, expectations, things that we put on ourselves that are almost impossible to achieve, based on a myriad of things. But sometimes we have sort of unrealistic expectations of your own life. And for instance, you should never compare your life with another's. And I'm saying this to you because we're all challenged with that. I mean, we're all challenged with not comparing ourselves to others. And I've been guilty of that, comparing my ministry or comparing my sort of trajectory or the way I've been sort of developed, or the things that have happened to me, or where I am in this point in my life. It's kind of sometimes we can fall into that trap of comparing. But when I sort of step back and really take inventory, you don't need to compare. I don't need to compare. We have to sort of learn to live within ourselves and appreciate all that we were able to accomplish. And so at times, you have to find a way to celebrate who you are and what you are and what you've had been able to accomplish in your life. And sometimes we fall into these traps. We find ourselves wishing at times for a different reality than the one that we currently have. Many of us, we know we just lived through 4 years of very difficult administration, and difficult probably is an understatement. But look, we're still alive, and many of us have done extremely well in spite of the kind of administration that we've had to endure and to deal with for 4 years. And the reason why I'm talking about expectations tonight, because some of us think that somehow tomorrow, when President-elect and Kamala Harris are sworn in, Biden as the president and Harris as the vice president, that magically all things will change. No, there's a process. There's things we're still going to have to deal with. There are things that have been planted, if I can use this analogy, that have been planted, that have taken root, and we've got to deal with some of what will be harvested. And no, we may not have been responsible for planting some of these seeds of discord, seeds of racist oppression, seeds of white supremacy, seeds of mistrust, all kinds of different divisive seeds. But yet and still, we live in this reality that we have to face some of the things sometimes that other people do that have absolutely nothing to do with us. And sometimes it's bitter when sometimes we, even in the midst of making changes, we got to make sure that we don't become bitter. And I've had to work on that throughout my life, not becoming bitter, because when you allow bitterness to grow, it inhibits one's gratitude and being grateful to God for all the things that you have experienced, and particularly just being grateful that you're alive, being grateful for the health that you have, and also showing empathy, for people who are suffering, people who perhaps are less fortunate than you are. There are 400,000 people who have died because of the coronavirus, and I pause even tonight to just say a prayer in myself, and a prayer when I'm off camera for these families and these people who have been affected by this terrible virus and our mismanagement of it. And so, and even today, people still don't think that somehow it's the real thing, but it is. It's happening all around us. So the thing is, we've got to just learn to yes, have expectations, but we've also got to learn to sort of manage them in a sense. Things can happen. Sometimes in your life you may get sick. Sometimes in your life you may fall into some financial difficulty that doesn't allow you to do the things that you have expected to do. What are you to do? Of course, it's easy sometimes to fall into depression, to absolutely give up. And I don't want to minimize anybody's pain or what you may be going through, but many times we've got to sort of recalibrate and figure out what we can do, how we can go forward. And that's a part of also sort of just managing, one's expectations, so you can deal with what's in front of you, deal with the disappointment, learn how to handle what God has put in your hands. And another thing is too, sometimes we think that people know what we are thinking, know our hopes and dreams and our aspirations and our thoughts, and a lot of times they don't. I've all being pastoring these years, sometimes I would turn around and I say, didn't they know? Didn't they know this? Didn't they understand we should be doing this or understand? And then I had to be reminded, no, you didn't tell them. And sometimes we make assumptions that people know. Sometimes with children we make assumptions when we raise them, things we didn't teach them, things we didn't put inside them, and then we get disappointed because our expectations is that they should have known. But how should they have known if we didn't teach them? Happens in relationships. People say, you should know me by now. But there are a lot of things about you and about me that people don't know. And it's not because they're not being attentive or not because they don't care. Sometimes you have to tell people, and don't get upset if you have to tell them more than once. How long did it take you to learn? How long did it take you to perfect some of the things, or at least you think they are perfected, that you have now in your arsenal as an individual? So as we are on this eve of really some unprecedented times, but also it's a sobering time, and it's also a time to celebrate in a sense. I don't think anybody should stop us from celebrating a way in which our country is sort of hopefully um, uh, moving in the right direction. We know there's a lot of things. I'll be the last one to say that we don't have some real deep issues in our country, because we do. But sometimes we have to take the opportunity to also smile, to laugh, to rejoice, to celebrate, and to think of things of getting better. And that's my hope. That's my expectation that things will get better. Of course, I do not like things talking about incrementally getting better. I don't like that, but sometimes that's the way things are over time. And but the thing is, as we are on this eve of this inauguration, I pray that we all have expectations for things changing in our country, in our communities, in your own personal life, but also that we learn to manage those expectations so we are not disappointed. And we've got to continue to advocate, continue to push, continue to hold people accountable who's supposed to represent us in whatever phase in life, and continue to trust God in ourselves, not the God we want to make, not the God we want to put in our own image, but the God that's beyond even our imagination. To trust God in the midst of everything that's happening. Listen, have a wonderful evening, and I pray that you would take good care of yourself, that you would stay safe. And don't forget, tonight, if you get an opportunity to make a contribution to our ministry, we would certainly appreciate it. You can give through GiveLify, and you can give through Cash App, either one of those. But think about tonight making a small contribution. It could be $5. It could be any amount of money you so desire. But we would appreciate any support you want to give our ministry. Perhaps you missed giving on Sunday. You're a member of the church and you forgot to give and pay your tithes. It's an opportunity for you to do that. Look, have a good evening. This is Dr. Tait, and take care of yourselves. God bless.